True worship requires humility. The strong have no reason to praise God. They thank themselves for their success. But the humble ask the question with sincere gratitude, where would we be if the Lord were not on our side? That's the question of Psalm 124. To preserve the humble in worshiping God, it was vital that Israel remember their history. Listen to how Psalm 105 puts it. When they were few in number, of little account, and sojourners in the land, God protected them. By the time Psalm 124 was written under the fruitful reign of King David, Israel was far more developed and ostensibly secure. But this little song was meant to remind them in their security that their security had never been in their size or strength. In fact, there is an implied warning in this Song of Ascents. If the Lord were to no longer be on their side, Israel's doom would be sure. If they refused to obey God's voice, they could again become weak and insecure, as the Old Testament repeatedly warns about. Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26, Jeremiah 44, elsewhere. Those who depend on the Lord are safe. Those who rely on themselves are doomed. The enemy seeks to devour us. 1 Peter 5:8 says, without God's help, he will. So the psalm doesn't soften the edges of the dangers of the pilgrim life, but believers credit God for his past provision and take their stand on his continued help. This is how John Newton put it. Through many dangers, toils, and snares I have already come. 'Tis grace has brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. The psalm's last lines can be read as both an acknowledgement of God's help and as a promise to rely on him. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. Liturgically, that line is commonly called a votum or a vow. Here's how that works. We know that if God were not on our side, we could not be saved. Now, we can't see God, but we live by faith, and we can look back over the history of God's people and bless the Lord for his preserving grace. And so we vow to rely on him alone. We take an oath that while others may claim self-reliance, we are God-reliant. And we are strengthened in that vow, remembering who God is. He is the maker of heaven and earth. So here's the beauty of Psalm 124, as Eugene Peterson puts it. It takes the majesty of the one who pulled the universe into order and beauty and finds God involved in the local troubles of a quite ordinary person. Let's hear that encouragement and take that vow as we hear Psalm 124. A Song of Ascents of David. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, let Israel now say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, when people rose up against us, then they would have swallowed us up alive. When their anger was kindled against us, then the flood would have swept us away. The torrent would have gone over us. Then over us would have gone the raging waters. Blessed be the Lord, who has not given us as prey to their teeth. We have escaped like a bird from the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken, and we have escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord, who made heaven and earth.